This episode was too badass to have in one sitting. So here's a continuation of that conversation that I hope answers any questions that the first part left lingering in your minds. Let us break the silence.
Consider your surgery based on that. So
when you're older and you can make these decisions yourself.
Yeah, there needs to be an age.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is leave the babies alone.
Yeah, leave people who are not yet at the legal age of consent alone.
Look, in general, or just for the surgery?
In general, but also, the complex thing that is coming up is now if we're deciding to do their surgery at 18 when they're done going through puberty. But anyway, all those are things to consider.
Yes, Cashin, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Two things, really. Are we not preempting the anti-rights guys? We are doing it for the children. But this is really doing it for the children. But every anti-rights person and their grandparent will tell you how they are protecting kids. And I think for me, the question to Dr. Nahiranda is, and this is something that, I think should be made emphasis on. I don't know the answer. So I'll just ask as a statement. Is anything wrong with intersex people medically?
Nothing. There's nothing wrong with them.
Louder for the back.
There is nothing wrong with...
For the people in the back.
The only people trying to invalidate intersex people, even I think some intersex people that have been forced to decide whether they want to be male or female, that has been something that has been brainwashed into their heads by the binary perpetuated by society. But there is nothing wrong with intersex people. Nothing medically, nothing physical. There's nothing wrong with intersex people.
The only existence, I think, for them in the medical terms is an explanation for who intersex people are.
Yes.
I think that's it.
Yes.
I have a very controversial question to ask, and we'll decide, Kelvin and all of us here, if we include it or we remove it once we have the conversation.
Yeah.
Is including intersex people in the LGBTIQ movement a reason why it's really hindering their service provision and access? Is it sort of causing a bias? And I want Kelvin to go first. Do you think that including intersex people in the general LGBT movement is causing a bias and rendering these people who need medical help a bit kind of, making it a touch and go thing?
Maybe we start by understanding what LGBTQIA means or what LGBTQI is. The first three letters, LGB, lesbians, gay, and bisexual. Those are sexual orientations, right? The first three. So those are sexual orientations. And then TQIA, those are gender identities. So what people really don't get is differentiating the two. Yes, it is one term, it is one acronym, but once you are able to define what is sexual orientation and what is gender identity, those are two different issues. I don't want to go deeper into that. So the question is including intersex persons in the LGBTQI, the whole acronym, an issue? I don't think it is an issue, because and most people tend to differ with this. But for me, I should say it does not hinder anything, because for them it is an issue of gender. It is not an issue of orientation. So when we are having a discussion of gender identities, that is where intersex persons fall. So for us including them in the LGBTQI, most people say that we are hindering the service delivery for them. But the question would be, would have intersex persons or programs been made if we had not discussed the issue of LGBTQI as a whole? Like if we had not probably included the intersex person in the minority category. LGBTQI people are a minority. Intersex persons are a minority. So if we had not included them in this particular cluster, would the programs they have, would the progress they have made been possible? I tend to defer no. So including them in the LGBTQI, it is not. For me, it is not. It is a non-issue. because we are looking at a holistic minority group that is segregated, that is discriminated, that is violated for just being them. You see, and if a minority group now tends to disintegrate itself from another minority group, then that raises questions. Yes, I think I would put it at that.
Kirsten, what do you think?
Honestly, and frankly,
No, I hope you can lie to us.
I really hope I can, but if I'm trying to be honest, because, ever since I turned 30, I'm trying to be a better person and tell the truth. I've never really thought about it that way. I personally, looking at an LGBT person, I've never thought of the inclusion of the I in the acronym. I really haven't. But I think the dilemma always is LGBT people are seen from a moral standpoint. And by virtue, adding the I there, they're literally fucked from the jump. So I think the issue again is the entire acronym is a moral stance, takes a moral stance. It's only assumable that intersex people will also fall under the same thing. I've never thought of the differences of the sexual minority acronym of LGBT and including I people, and I think that's a conversation I would really like to get into and have, because that's how deep it is. Like, I haven't even thought about it, and I am a minority, but this is how deeply seated the idea of exclusion is for LGBTQI people. And I think conversations would be a great way to resolve the ideas of I being added to the entire acronym. Oh, wow.
I asked the question.
Sip Sprite.
I think we'll probably get cancelled after this, but I think that
What do you think, Samantha?
I think it's both important and not and it's very important, but I feel like it's kind of one of those double-edged swords kind of things. If we have all the statistics and the information that Dr. Nahiranda is giving us about sex and gender, and then we went to the parliament with this information, and the minute we said, but also now they're lesbians, and now we've lost out, and then if we say, but children are having surgeries and ABCD, and so there's a way you can appeal to somebody to look at that, like how Kirsten was saying, how these children, that is their motto, So for me, it's very touch and go. It's very, it's both. It could work. I feel like it's important. Inclusion, but now minority in Uganda is saying differently. This year, the census, you will believe me, UBOS has been sending, unless the Uganda Bureau of Statistics has been sending out UBOS in partnership with, it's a whole document. I'll try to put it in the description of the podcast when people see it, to include born agains in the census.
In terms of what, a religion?
Yeah, as an improvement to the forms. So before born agains were not there. But now they're there. Actually, they even told us the number. If you want to tick born again, it's number 15. Born again stroke molokole. And I'm thinking, this is the genius thing that you have added to this census form. You have ignored the whole. So I don't understand, how does not being counted? Ideally, how would it affect the life of born again Christian? Like, in the extent that it's going to affect the life of an intersex person. In fact, I have half a brain to say, cancel the born again part and put intersex. Then I tick there. And then whoever is reading the form seasons, it's because this affects lives. You know what I'm saying? And so when you say we're all minorities, and I think about the minority that the census considered, or people consider themselves minorities. I mean, Jews consider themselves minorities, right? I'm very controversial. We're going to do Palestine, but they consider themselves minorities, no? And yet, here we all are. So the word minority is a bit... what you think?
I think they...
Yeah.
I think they should just...
I don't know. I think for God and my country, it's in the name.
I What I think,
What you think?
I
Is
think
Uganda a
they,
religious state?
Yeah.
I think they should
You
just.
are a religious state.
Uganda is apparently Uganda is a Christian nation.
I
No?
think for God and my country.
Yeah.
I think.
Hapo Musidamo Adewa. Anyway.
I think the LGBTQ
Because in Kenya
movement.
we don't conform to any. We are not a religious state constitutionally.
I think the LGBTQ movement should decide to leave intersex people out of it, especially in this country, because things will be better for them. Because the truth is, LGBTQ people are viewed as abnormal, immoral, unchristian against the kids. But intersex people exist scientifically, they exist. Yeah, you can't say they decided. They didn't. Their body did a thing. There are tests we can do to prove it. So for me, I believe it's best they just go as them as a thing, because that is the only way we're going to move forward for intersex people.
That's true. Yeah. We're about to come to the close. I just want us to have a conversation around what do we want to be done. Honestly, it might be late for Friday, but moving forward, especially when Kelvin said something around CSOs organized, I really want to hear about that process. How they said the CSOs organized, and then from that, the census happened. So, like, what do we do now moving forward? How do we, as gender diverse people, how do we as gender diverse people, what are the solutions? Are we going to whine about it on different podcasts, or like what do we do? Casting off.
Thank you. I'll start with advocacy spaces, right? Advocacy spaces right now, especially those doing work around rights work, are with as much scrutiny they're under. The element of intersectionality is huge, and we get what it means. If we're being intersectional, the call to action is intersex people do exist and deserve representation and access to service provision. Of course, tomorrow is very late, but in the future, I will tell a government, our best and brightest, that I'll tell them the same exact thing they keep telling young people: stop being lazy. If intersex people exist, unlike Dr. Nahiranda mentioned earlier, it's not just a rare occurrence. Every week, you're dealing with an intersex person. That's how deep it is. Stop being intellectually lazy and acknowledge that they exist so that they can properly be planned for. If an LGBT person struggles with my existence and knowing that, okay, I know there might be a little bit passive aggression because there's a moral stance to it, but like Malik said, an intersex person, their body just did a thing. The emotional drain and the emotional toll should be heavy. If truly governments care about people as they claim to, the only bottom line is they deserve acknowledgement, they deserve to be planned for, and there's no way around it. Again, stop being lazy.
Kelvin, for you it's a bit deeper than just what should be done. I want to hear about the process of what was done in 2019, what continues to be done, so we could pick a leaf, or even the rest of Africa, because I don't know how many countries have an intersex act.
I think it is for CSOs, civil societies, to stop expecting more from the government. We are already acknowledging the government is lazy. So how now do we make the government not lazy? Is by drafting such bill, because the intersex bill is CSO drafted. It is a CSO drafted bill by intersex persons. We actually have an intersex person ran for office. Was it during our last year? Was it 2022 or 2022 elections? We had an intersex person running for office. So those are the people who have drafted the intersex bill.
Did they win? Did they win?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no. But at least they made a step.
History was made.
Going out campaigning as an intersex person, history was made. Also, I was saying for us CSOs, maybe CSOs in Uganda, it is about time we join hands. It is about time we stop politics. We have organizational politics. Joining hands, and probably what you're saying that the government acknowledging that intersex persons are here. You can work with human rights organization, and then maybe you petition either through courts, you petition either through parliament for such bills to be discussed in parliament. It is a process, but it begins down here. The advocacy spaces that we go in, are we cognizant of intersex persons in our meetings? Do we even invite them in our meetings? Do we even give them space in our meetings? So those are the very small issues that give meaning or give sense at the end of the day. Another issue is recognizing that through the government or through courts, maybe you could petition through courts for people, for particularly these census. I think somebody should have already gone to court and asked the government why are we not including intersex person in the census? Why are we not? Why is intersex person not being recognized by the government?
I think as far as sexual and gender things go, we have our hands full with really fighting this anti-homosexuality act. We've been, as you know, we've really been going through it as a nation or as a gender diverse community. So I do not think any of us really wants to go to court with another. But I hear you. In a perfect world, we should be able to context one law, while also still having the rights as a Ugandan to repeat and complain against bad services. You said you're coming to observe the census. You said you're coming to observe the census.
He said it's a public holiday and he'll watch out for like the news and shit.
Try, be careful, they might cut our internet.
Are you serious?
Okay. We have the most radical leaders. Wakes up one morning, you don't deserve MTN internet.
We still don't have Facebook in Uganda. We still don't have Facebook in Uganda.
We still use VPNs. How many years later?
Dr. Nahiranda, what do you think should be
for
done?
me? Yes, that's the
doctor.
part I really want to talk about. I feel like I only have an undergraduate degree, and going through my undergraduate training, I don't remember them teaching us about intersex people. I remember XY. I don't remember emphasis when we were doing embryology. I don't remember emphasis or letting people know that there's a group of people that may not be XY with a particular or XX with a particular genitalia. So I feel like we also need to do something about that in the schools, because like, okay, the government knows these people exist. They just don't want to like officially recognize it. But I feel like the government is only not made of politicians that only stopped in S4. They are scientists. You understand? There are people that actually went to school that
so for the whole government.
But think about it. There are scientists, like actual doctors in big positions who know these things. Yeah, they all read Langman like me. They know these things, and so I feel like incorporating it into the medical school, even at the undergraduate level, and also especially at the undergraduate level, because after undergrad, these are general practitioners who handle most of the population, and it breaks my heart, like when I talk to my colleagues, the amount of ignorance they have about intersex people, like utter ignorance. But this is a person who did medicine, and so what should that local man do?
Who is the local man? Who is the local man? Why are you pointing at me and asking what the
All
local
I'm
man
saying is,
I told you you'll receive shots in this thing, but you didn't allow.
the people without like a medical degree are so unaware. They don't know what to do. Like, they don't know what to do when they are faced with such a person.
And just not even interrupting you a little bit, there is, within medicine, intersex people are dealt with. How does a whole university in Uganda conveniently skip that as information?
In Uganda, our policy, if we don't talk about something, it goes away. Delusion, Delulu is the Solulu, straight up from up there.
It's just like knowing that, okay, fine, this is all I have to do in law school. And then you realize because of the moral controversy around something, we are choosing not to do this. It is so intellectually lazy.
For me, I'll just speak as me, but also as a journalist.
Who else did you want to speak as?
as a journalist, I feel like let's cover the stories. They're painful, they're heavy, but I keep telling people that the sexual and gender diverse community of Uganda has survived as a technicality. Like we look for the things where we can survive. And so to find ways to cover this news and to report these stories, people who do investigative journalism, documentaries about corruption, about ABCD, somebody should put money and do investigate. We've had a documentary. There's a documentary that was done by CPID. CPID is supposed to be an organization for intersex people in Uganda. It was very interesting. I think it's the one where the housemaid made somebody pregnant at home. It was very exciting. I was so excited about that documentary. And so to have more of these coming up, not just independent projects, but to have somebody go. So Dr. Nahiranda is one person, and we don't know how many times he goes to hospital, but if he has this much interface, so if we interviewed like 10 doctors, if we went to like different health centers that he hasn't been to, and like have this conversation on a broader scale, or even people can't afford to go to hospital, to go to the like somebody. Who is that person? Is it Solomon? The person who, that African Institute of Investigative Journalism.
That's Solomon Seranja.
Yeah, Solomon. Don't call it.
AIIJ.
To call investigative
journalism.
Yes, but also to artists. We have from this experience. I hope you're inspired. Let's write the poems. Let's make the paintings. Let's do the things, because we also realize that away from, so everybody's speaking to the government, to doctors, but also once the attitude is changed in the ordinary person, in the ordinary African, if we understand the thing, so we make more informed decisions. If you go to hospital and the surgeon is insisting on changing your child, you have interfaced with work, you've interfaced with art that says, no, if the child has malaria, you treat malaria, ignore anything else that has not really, like, mind your business, please, thank you, because we have been exposed and we have learned these kinds of things. Yeah. Calvin, we are parting shots. Let everybody say in like 30 seconds podcast. So yeah.
Thank you for having me. I hope it will be better days for intersex persons in Uganda soon. Maybe after the census, it is probably a wake-up call for CSOs in Uganda. Probably it could also be an entry point for advocacy for LGBTQI persons. Traditionally, as CSOs, we have used HIV and AIDS. And for me, I believe that using a disease as an entry advocacy point is very weird and lame. Sorry. But I feel that intersex, because we are actually advocating for persons whom scientifically are there, whom doctors and surgeons have identified that they are there. So I feel that it would be a very good entry point for all of us. Again, all the best in the census, and my question still lingers is, what will that intersex person identify as during this particular census?
Thank you, Kelvin. So, parting shots.
Didn't you already give your parting shots?
I might have, but then Samantha asked.
Oh, babe.
Intersex persons should only be looked at from a medical standpoint, because that's where all of the explanations lie. It's not a no moral conversation. It's not a moral dialogue. Intersex people need a medical approach to dealing with them, because that's the only explanation that exists. Anything outside of that is your morals, emotions, and your immaturity clouding your judgment.
It's so weird how we didn't mention witchcraft, because Africa, we really are very quick to say someone bewitched my child.
Oh yeah, I've actually, yes, I've had that as an explanation for a few intersex people, especially like in communities. When you hear the story, you always hear, oh, this one had a problem with that one, that's why they had an intersex child. Like, go, guy, relax.
Yeah.
So yeah, but thank you for having me. Okay, I hope we've done better in 10 years, because it will be very, very disappointing if we have to roll back to this very conversation in 10 years. That will be the real test of our progress.
Even in 10 years, I hope we're not having the transgender conversation on census forms. Like in 10 years, let's just be a country that is ready for gender diversity and just do that.
What we thought in 2014, but my guy, here we are fighting
you know what the
for
red
our
flag
lives.
was? They asked us, do you own a boat? They came to my house, concrete everywhere. Do you own a boat? Those are the questions. And they said, do you think I own a boat?
But with Uganda, you just have to woosa for a minute and Carry on.
My passing remarks are doctors and the medical field needs to do better. As individual doctors, like any doctor that gets to hear this, you need to go home and educate yourself about intersex people. And I'm also reaching out to like activists, you people, what you do, reach out to those hospitals, reach out to those health bodies, tell them to do continuous medical educations for the doctors about intersex people, just to like raise awareness, to like just come up with workshops where they're telling the health workers about these people. Like, even if we may not change the curriculum in medical school, but we can do it for the people already in the field, just, you know, so that they get to know that, these people actually exist. And so as we do this, they educate themselves more. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Breaking the Silence. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to take action and advocate for the rights and safety of sexual and gender diverse individuals across Africa. Remember, change begins with awareness, empathy, and collective effort. Be sure to subscribe and tune in for our next episode, where we'll continue to explore the many facets of SGBV and work together towards a future free from violence and discrimination. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep breaking the silence.